Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Where the 99 Lead. I'm Andrew Joyce, your host, and on Where the 99 Lead, we talk many different topics surrounding the University of Pikeville. The different colleges, of course, the Coleman College of Business, the Patton College of Education, Kentucky College of Osteopathic Medicine, the new Kentucky College of Optometry, and many of the different degree programs around the university, academics and athletics at UPike. And today, joined by a program, we'll talk about a program that's near and dear to my heart because communication is what I attempt to do every day in life, in the business world, in the personal world. We all must know how to communicate, and I'm joined by Associate Professor of Communication, Chandra Messner. Welcome in.
Thanks for having us.
You've been here before. We're going to talk about communication. It's so important in life.
It
in
is
business,
definitely
in education.
a life skill. I love teaching communication because no matter what you do, you need to know how to communicate. In fact, you cannot not communicate.
Sure.
So it's a field that's very flexible for our students, and we've had great success.
Let's talk about your background. Let's talk about where you come from and your arrival at Pikeville and some of the things that you do in the communication program.
Well, I've been at UPike for 20 years.
Wow.
So I've seen it progress from Pikeville College to University of Pikeville, and I started the communication program. I was on the committee that designed the current major that we have now, and so it's very near and dear to my heart. So I've been teaching in it since it was established, and I came here through Bachelor's of Journalism from Ohio University in Athens, and then I did my graduate work at the University of Kentucky, and then I found my way east, and I've been here ever since.
A lot of people do. Once they land at Pikeville, they never seem to find the exit. And I think that's by choice.
It is. Most definitely. My family's spread out all over the country. They're all out west now. They want me out west, but I like our green mountains. I like our trees. I like the people here in eastern Kentucky, and I love the Bears.
There you go. And of course, the University of Pikeville. It's grown over the last 20 years. A lot of changes in the footprint of the campus, the student body in the campus, but also communication has changed over the last 20 years as well. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Also joined by one of your students, Marianne Fletcher, a UPike senior. Marianne, welcome to Where the 99 Lead.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your background, where you come from, where you grew up, where you went to high school, and maybe some future plans as well.
All right. Well, I'm actually not too far from here, Martin County, from Inez to be exact. I went to Sheldon Clark. And then I decided, you know what, UPike should really be my forever home, and
Sure.
Came here.
Very good. Now, Marianne, when you arrived at UPike out of Sheldon Clark High School, what were your future plans when you arrived as a young, innocent, naive, unknowing freshman?
Well, you know, innocent and naive is really, you've hit the head on the nail there. I honestly didn't exactly know what I wanted to go into. I started with business.
Right.
However, I started taking some of Chandra's classes, and I really seemed to enjoy them. So I found myself in the communication field, and then as my years progressed, I found film and media arts.
I asked the question because so many arrive on campus with a certain plan for life, a degree program. And some will end up on that exact path, but so many, the majority it seems, find their niche while they're at Pikeville. And I think Chandra Messner does a tremendous job in leading students to find that place where they belong. And film and media arts, one of the newest majors at the University of Pikeville. Communication is a popular degree. Chandra, communication, one of the most popular majors on campus. Give us an overview of the program and some of the courses that you might see.
Well, our communication program actually fulfills kind of a dual purpose. We have a lot of hands-on courses. They're going to give practical skills for students, both in writing and in speaking, and some technical skills with computer graphics and videography, etc. And then also we provide a theoretical background for our students. We require theory courses, interpersonal communication, mass media courses, so that when our students graduated, they're really prepared to either go to graduate school or to jump in the workforce.
Sure.
Locally, regionally, nationally, or even internationally. I have one alum who works in the field in New Zealand.
How about that?
Yeah, shout out to Sarah.
Yeah, and of course, communications majors, media majors can land anywhere, and truly scattered throughout. And I think I know exactly who you're talking about in New Zealand. And they keep in touch with Pikeville.
Yes, very much so. They watch Pikeville sports.
Yes.
Yes.
They tune in, and Pikeville, traveling all the way to New Zealand, Pikeville UPike has sunk its claws into more, as we have alumni all over the country and all over the world. What are some of the courses that someone might be involved in, specific courses? If someone's tuned in, perhaps they're a rising senior or a graduating senior, and they'll be at UPike next year, and communication's their thing. They think it's their thing as they arrive on campus. They have an interest in these type of programs and courses. Talk about some of the courses specific that they'll have.
Well, we offer some practical courses like journalism, digital media, desktop publishing, where they can actually learn by doing, more experientially based. And then we have an Intro to Communication course, which really introduces the field to students, and it surveys possible employment options, different directions that students can study in the field. It kind of opens up the realm of possibilities, because communication encompasses that media component, but also the interpersonal component. And so some of our students go on and they end up working in counseling and social work. We have a lot of students who work for the university when they graduate, and admissions counselors. Some students go into teaching, some students go into coaching.
Sure.
We have several successful coaches that have graduated from our program in a variety of sports.
Right.
So there's the interpersonal side, and there's also the media side, and our courses are developed so that students can really kind of get the experience that they want from the curriculum. So if you like the media courses, you can take more courses that direction. And if you want the interpersonal courses, we have courses such as health communication, or a popular course this semester was lying and deception, the darker side of interpersonal
Interesting.
communication.
Interesting. And that requires some training.
It does, if you're going to do it well.
Exactly. And that's what it's about, effective communication. Because as you said, as we open, everyone communicates in some way, some very poorly. As I have to say, in the course of my work career, in my career life, I've seen some really ineffective communication. Those that would have been more successful in business, in whatever, had they been better communicators. And I think it is important, regardless of what someone's major is, regardless of where they land after college, you must be able to communicate well. And I think that's why it's so important. I see it every day. I recognize it every day. I live it every day. And I think it's a tremendous program that everybody should be able to communicate well. And we love the program. It's one of the most popular at the University of Pikeville. That's Chandra Massner, Associate Professor of Communication. We'll talk more. Marianne, UPike Senior, you'll graduate in May and head out into the big old world, or will you? What are your future plans?
Well, I do plan on going out into the big old world as a news anchor or a news reporter. I kind of, throughout Chandra's classes and my film and media arts classes, I found that that's kind of like my niche. It's what I really enjoy to do.
Right.
So that's kind of, where my prospects have led me.
Very good. So you like being in front of the camera. You're comfortable there.
Yeah, I mean, I've really seemed to kind of blossom in, anchoring through Bear TV News,
Sure.
or actually just learning, things through Chandra, with body language and everything. So it's really helped me.
Would you have ever imagined that 4 years ago when you arrived on campus as a freshman that you would be able to sit in front of a camera and feel comfortable?
Well, actually, like throughout high school, I took, small little journalism classes, and I kind of thought that would be like a cool career to have, but I seen it as unattainable.
Sure.
But through Chandra's classes, she's really shown me that, as long as you put forth effort, nothing is unattainable, and that, it's within your grasp.
Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. The networks will be calling. Mary Ann Fletcher, UPike, soon-to-be graduate, reporting international news from Baghdad. It could happen. The girl from
Maybe.
Martin County lands on a national network. As we've seen, UPike alum do land all over the country and all over the world. Chandra, UPike's hosting Communication Week again this year. Tell us about that. Give us some highlights.
Well, we're excited. This is our second annual, so we started this last year to kind of highlight our program. We got the idea, faculty and I did, by attending the National Communication Association meeting last year. So this is our second. One of the things that we're most proud of as a part of that is each year we're going to select alumnus from our program and invite him or her to come in and speak to the students as our distinguished alumni speaker. And this year's speaker is going to be Justin Hall, who was actually one of the very first communication graduates at Pikeville College then.
Wow.
And he played baseball while he was here. He was a double major in communication and art. And then he went on his own and got the technical skills that he needed to become a real force in the technological world. He's a web designer, a game and app designer. He has helped establish BitSource, the program for displaced minors.
Sure.
To get technical skills. We're very proud of what he's been able to accomplish, and I think it's going to be really great for our students to hear his story, how he came to Pikeville to play baseball. He was a catcher from Elkhorn City, and now he's really making an impact in his communities, both here, still at home, and in Lexington, where he lives.
Indeed. And it's hard to believe that Justin Hall has been an alum of Pikeville for that long, because I've got to tell you, Justin Hall, I remember when Justin Hall was a wee bitty guy, but he has been incredibly successful, and I don't think you could have found a more distinguished alumni. He's been very successful and a good representation of the Pikeville and UPike. Mary Ann, you're involved in several clubs and organizations on campus, very active. What have you learned in your communication courses that have helped you prepare for leadership roles in those organizations?
Well, really everything that I've learned has really helped me excel in, not only the UPike community, but the surrounding community as well, between interpersonal communication and public speaking skills that I learned through Chandra's classes. It's really helped me kind of get out there and figure out what I actually want to do with my life. Public
speaking is a fear of many people. Some say it's the greatest fear for some, is speaking in front of people. Do you find situations where you still might have butterflies speaking in front of a group? Not exactly. I'm also the president of the public speaking and debate team here at the University of Pikeville, so I'm just kind of, cool with it. You just kind of act like you're talking like me and you, just sure. Normal. If someone has that fear, a serious dread, I'll pass out if I have to speak in front of people, and you had to give them a tip to get through that speaking engagement, what would you tell them? Relax. It's not the end of the world if you stumble over a word or you take a second to kind of compose your thoughts. Just relax. There you go. I think that's great advice. You're tuned to Where the 99 Lead, a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville. Today we talk film and media arts, one of the newest majors at the university. The area of communications, it's been at UPike for some time now. Chandra Massner, Associate Professor of Communication, our guest, along with Mary Ann Fletcher, a UPike senior out of Martin County, the pride of Martin County, on our show today. And Chandra, you joined another faculty member to co-teach a research course recently. Tell us about that class and how students benefit from instruction from two professors.
I am pleased that this is, I think, the fourth year that Leanne Epling and I have team taught a class on undergraduate research. And she teaches psychology and I teach communication. And we have students from both disciplines in the course. And they are completing a research project from beginning to end during the course. And they benefit from having both of us because we both have different perspectives. And that's really beneficial for the students. Leanne comes from more of a quantitative mindset when it comes to research,
Right.
and I'm more of a qualitative researcher. So we have different strengths, and students then are seeing different perspectives, and they can ask questions from both of us and get two viewpoints. And I think it makes their projects a lot stronger in the end. And then what we do is the students, after they complete their projects in May, they're required to do a presentation, a poster, and a final paper for us. And then we'll submit those to the Blue Ridge Undergraduate Research Conference next year and allow them to present their work in front of peers from a variety of different colleges and universities.
Mary Ann, I've got to ask you, it's a simple question we ask of many students of different majors. If you had to name one communication course that was your absolute favorite, what would it be?
Oh my goodness, that's actually a really hard question to answer because I've absolutely loved every single class that I've taken. However, if I had to choose, I would choose journalism because it's really helped me it's equipped me with the vital building blocks to really, write an effective news story, report, the whole 9 yards.
Very good. And how has the communication and film and media arts courses complemented each other?
Well, to start, you kind of touched on it earlier, actually. I believe that a lot of students should, be required to take communication classes, not just maybe the first couple 100 level classes, like upper level classes as well, because once you get into the actual, the real world, you really need to be able to communicate effectively with not only, your clients, but maybe your team members as well. How they actually coincide between FMA and communications, I feel like it's very obvious. You need to be able to communicate to actually, maybe you want to go into marketing or video design or, anything like that. So you need to be able to really communicate with your clients.
Chandra, several communication students are currently working on research, as you've talked about, your co-taught class that involves research. Talk about some of the projects that they're involved in.
Well, I know that there's one that you would enjoy reading and participating in. Scotty Whitaker, who's also a baseball player, he's doing a research project on cheating in baseball and people's perceptions of what is cheating, what is not cheating.
Right.
Do you consider it cheating when they put the pine tar on the baseball? Steroids, is that cheating?
Right.
Is it cheating if both teams have access to doing these activities? His point is really that most Major League Baseball players admit to breaking the rules somewhat in some way.
Sure.
So where do you draw the line?
Right.
So that's an interesting study, and he's got a survey going. He's going to be collecting some more data in the next couple of weeks before he analyzes that. And then I have another student who's working on a project with children. She's trying to get parents on her survey to talk about students' television watching and what kind of effect that has on their behavior.
Absolutely.
So
Both interesting.
interesting studies. Yeah.
Indeed. And cheating in baseball. Who knew?
You didn't know they did that?
That those things happen. Pine tar? Yeah, interesting. And that's something I would like to get my hands on, but television watching habits of children, I think, is something that many people would be interested in, and it's important research. It's all going on at the University of Pikeville. We talk film and media arts, and specifically communications at the University of Pikeville. It's one of the most popular programs on campus. The new film and media arts finds a niche for students that may have had the electronic means, and their work is behind the cameras. They're not out in front of the cameras, but behind the cameras, behind the scenes, with videography, with computer graphics, with many of those different types of media involved in film and media arts. A film festival going on this weekend. We see some very talented individuals there as well. That's our subject today. Marianne, we talk about research skills that have been learned from in communication students. How do you think these skills helped you prepare for your future career?
Oh, they've definitely helped me from the start. You know, I want to go into news, so when I go out to do a news package, before even like picking up a camera, I need to do some research on that topic.
Sure.
So I go into it, you know, knowing, you know, the different sides of everything. So it's definitely helped me.
Absolutely. Now, Chandra, you've been a professor at the University of Pikeville for some time now. It's hard to believe 20 years have passed. You said that, and I was, really? It just doesn't seem that way. You've seen a lot of changes, not just in the university, but in communications. Social media hardly existed, if it even did, 20 years ago. Maybe AOL was social media. Prodigy, I can remember some of the old school. Marianne, ask your grandparents. But those were the first types of social media. But it's impacted news and communication in big ways. Tell us how it has impacted communication.
Well, I've definitely seen that change since I have been here in Pikeville. When I got here, I think we had the internet, we had email. That was about it. When social media became popular with my students, and of course we had bag phones then. You know, we didn't have smartphones like we have now. When social media started hit with my students, I think it started with MySpace. It was the bane of my existence.
Right.
Because I teach a lot of my classes in a computer lab. And suddenly the students weren't paying attention to me.
Yeah.
They weren't doing their work, so they
Right.
were like there forever because they were on MySpace. And I was really angry with them a lot and telling them no, no, no. And I felt like this was never going to get any better. And then it changed.
Yes.
Then it went from that, and it became more, social media became more into the fabric of our society. And then it became a way that my students and I couldn't live without while we were putting together the Bare Facts, our student newsletter. So suddenly we needed hooked into Facebook and Twitter and social media, because if we had a question or if we needed a photo or anything we needed to, we could get quick answers through social media that we couldn't get in other ways. So instead of dreading my students being on it, I encouraged them to use it to do their work.
Sure.
And that's where we're at now, where we're incorporating it more into our coursework. We're doing a lot of blogging in some of my classes, getting students to pay attention to their digital footprint so that when they graduate, they have something to show that makes them attractive to employers, because employers want employees who have effective social media skills.
Sure. Marianne, same question to you. How do you think social media, this is interesting, because I've heard one perspective, and now I hear it from someone who's graduating from the university, a completely different generation. You've grown up with it. It's been a part of your life, much of your life.
Oh, yes.
How do you think social media impacted the news and communication?
Well, I've said time and time again, I believe that my generation, we are children of the media. We're so, we've grown accustomed to this instant gratification, this instant access. If at this point, if a news page, or any page really takes more than, 10 to 15 seconds to load, we're like, what is going on?
Sure.
So we're so accustomed to having that instant access at our fingertips, not just desktop version. So I believe that it's really helped a lot, but at the same time, it's kind of hurt as well, because you really need to fact check. Credibility is the biggest thing, especially with sharing Facebook articles, everything like that.
Thank you very much. Someone has taught the lesson that needed to be taught. Chandra, that has to be one of the most frustrating things that you encounter dealing with communication students and social media, because something that is lost with the fast food mentality, the drive-through, boom, got to have it now, can't wait for the morning's paper, can't wait for the nightly news. I have to have a breaking story as it happens. There's a certain amount of responsibility that goes with that, even if it just hits Facebook, even if it just hits Twitter. There's still responsibility out there, and credibility, and how accurate is the information. Because with social media, those aren't held to the same standards as media. How frustrating is that?
Well, I love that some people don't realize that just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that it's not true.
Yes.
So I think that a lot of people locally were kind of fooled by a story last week, and it got shared a lot.
Yes.
Because it's East Kentucky news. It was East Kentucky news, so
Sure.
Obviously it must be true.
It's on the internet.
It was on the internet. I saw it. There
Yes.
was a picture and everything. I
Right.
mean, it must be true.
Yeah.
So it's somewhat frustrating to teach students and to remind them constantly that they have to not just be consumers of media, but they have to evaluate and judge media, and they have to think. You can't be a passive couch potato when you're watching news or scrolling on your phones. You actually have to think.
Sure.
And be a critical thinker. And so that's what I hope that we teach our students through our courses to do. Sometimes we have to hit them again and again and again to make that point, but that's definitely something that we work on, increasing their media literacy skills.
And fact checking is one of the most important things you will ever do in media to establish credibility. You've got to have the facts, and one misspoken word, you can destroy that very quickly. Some have never learned that. Chandra, communication students required to complete an internship prior to graduation. How do those experiences help students?
I think the internship experience is the culmination of their time here in a lot of ways. We envision it to help our students make that transition to the next step. Especially for students who are going to go into the workforce upon graduation, but even students who are going or thinking about going to graduate school or professional school, we try to put them in an internship in the area that they're thinking about studying, so that they can see, okay, if I complete that program, what would I be doing, and do I really want to do that?
Sure.
Because sometimes you think you want to do something, but then you do it and you're like, wow, I don't think I could do this every day.
Right.
So the internship allows them to really kind of expand from their coursework into a professional setting, make that connection between what did I do in the classroom, what do I want to do for the rest of my life, and kind of give them a taste of that.
Chandra Massner, Associate Professor of Communication, thanks for being our guest today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Mary Ann Fletcher, UPike Senior, on your way to great things following graduation in May. We want to wish you the best of luck as well.
Thank you.
You've been tuned to Where the 99 Lead, a program brought to you by the University of Pikeville, the leading university of Central Appalachia.